Hello, can you see my slide?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, I can't see.
You cannot see. Okay, I think it will come
So
soon,
I
right?
can
It will
hear you.
come soon.
I
So
can
please,
see.
yeah, please wait a moment. It will come soon. Today's topic is related to the background to language teaching methodology. Methodology, right? Methodology. Methodology means study or methods. Here, we are going to learn the language acquisition and language learning. Next one, definitions of language learning and language acquisition and language learning. Their differences, factors which have impact on language acquisition and language learning, and form methods. And then normally you may know like the GTM or grammar translation method and its characteristics and the benefits and limitations of using grammar translation method. So these are some outlines. Now we'll carry on. The first one, language acquisition and language learning. Right. Before I start my lesson, I want to ask you, is the speed is too fast or too slow, or is it okay, the speed?
Is this okay? Yeah, that's okay to check.
That's okay. So you mean that okay for mostly, okay for most, maybe too fast for some. And then, okay, good. ရမ်းမြန်နေလားရမ်းနှေးနေလားလို့ပြပါ okay ရဆိုရင်ရပြီ So firstly, we are going to learn the language acquisition and language learning. Yes, you will see, right? Unless you have the mental difficulties, all of us can speak and understand at least one language very well. So how do we get the language that we are speaking? We get it from our ancestors, like parents, or from the people around us. So here, for the mother tongue, right? We don't need to spend much time to think about the process of getting that language. It just happened. It just happened automatically. So what is the necessity? The necessary thing is we need a lot of exposure to the language, especially because we get lots of exposure and also opportunities to use it, like in our everyday life. So this is symbol of language acquisition. This language we acquire automatically is called the language acquisition. And also, it also happens in a subconscious process. Subconscious process. So what does subconscious process mean? Someone, please. What's the difference between subconscious process and conscious process? Are there any differences? Hello? Conscious process နဲ့ subconscious process ကဘယ်လိုမတူတာလဲဘယ်လိုကွာခြားတာလဲ Language acquisition ကျတော့ subconscious process ကနေပြီးရရှိတာပေါ့ Like you get language inputs from your parents, from your brother and sister, from your friends in school, from your friends in your workplace, or when you are watching the Myanmar movie, you are getting the language inputs. Even when you are listening to Myanmar news, you are getting the language inputs. So this is characteristics of language acquisition. Acquisition comes from acquire, acquisition of acquire yashida, language acquisition, acquiring the language automatically. Era subconscious process you call about. Subconscious process, if you mean the subconscious process, we don't need to put much effort. We are getting the language inputs automatically. You don't need to pay much attention. Right? The ways I never tiny man, tiny now, Bilu Pionida, Johnny Yare. No Comadilla, Johnny, Bilu Pionida, Johnny Yare. One was Weber time to cool lonely man, whom I TV maga, no Yamazalan Tony, then Yamazagapio and Johnny Yare. Are you totally I see I'm right? To buy new subconscious process for. Apoyan tisi ka ni ro da yashiနေတာပေါ့နော် subconscious process ပေါ့တစ်စိတ်တစ်ပိုင်းသိစိတ်ပေါ့ဆိုလိုတာကတော့အပေါ်ယံသိစိတ်တော့မဟုတ်ဘူး unconscious ဆိုရင်တော့မသိစိတ်ဖြစ်သွားမယ်အဲ့လိုကနေတော့ရရှိတော့တာ language acquisition လို့ခေါ်တယ်အဲ့လိုမျိုးတွေစောစောပြောတယ်နေကိုယ့်ရဲ့နေဆက်တူဘဝပေါ့နေစဉ်ဘဝမှာ opportunities တွေအများကြီးပဲရရှိနေတဲ့ exposure ပေါ့အများကြီးထိတွေ့မှုရှိနေလို့ language ကတသိတသက်မလေးလာဘဲနဲ့ရရှိနေတာကိုlanguage acquisitionလို့ခေါ်တာ For example, in the first bullet, right? Many children acquire more than one language in childhood. Like in many countries, right? It's unusual for people to be monolingual. Monolingual means the person who is able to speak only single language. အဲ့တော့ကိုကဘာတစ်ခုပဲဘာသာစကားတစ်ခုပဲပြောနိုင်ဆို monolingual learner ပေါ့ဘာသာစကားနှစ်မျိုးနဲ့လေးနိုင်ဆို bilingual learner ဘာသာစကားတစ်ခုကိုလေ့လာနေတယ် like you are able you can speak Myanmar you can speak English or you can speak your native language like you can speak your national language right like Kachin, Chin, Rakhine, Mon, Shan, like that you can speak your language too that's why you can even say you are trilingual learner right သုံးဘာသာစကားသုံးခုလေးခုပြောနိုင်တယ်ဆိုရင်ဒါ trilingual ဖြစ်သွားတာပေါ့သုံးခုပြောနိုင်တယ်ဆိုရင်တော့ Okay, next one. Age seems to be an important factor in language acquisition. Right. Because children acquire and forget the language easily because they get lots of like exposure to them, and partly because of their developmental stages. So who remember the developmental stages from our previous session? How many stages of cognitive development for the children? Hello.
4 stages.
4 stages. What is the first stage? What is the first stage? The first stage is sensory motor stage.
Sensory motor.
Yes. What is the second stage?
Pre-operational.
Pre-operational, yes. The third stage?
Operational.
Yes. Concrete operational stage. Third stage. The final stage.
Formal operation.
Yes, the last stage, formal operational stage, right? So, based on their developmental stages, the children, the amount of the language inputs that the children get will become different. And the lives they are leading, right? The lives they are running, the lives they are doing in their day-to-day life events. It also has the big impact on the language acquisition of the children. For example, when you go to the famous pagoda in Bagan or in other places, you will see the tour guide, the children, very young children, they can speak, they can speak English and they can even speak another language. But they haven't reached to the higher education level, but they can speak more than one language. This is because of their leading lives. Right? သူတို့တွေရှင်သန်နေတဲ့ဘဝပေါ်မူတည်ပြီးတော့လည်းဒါ language ရရှိဖို့လည်းကွာသွားတာပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးလည်းရှိတယ် The next one, teenagers and adults, right, don't seem to acquire language so automatically. Why? Yeah, teenagers and adults don't seem to acquire languages so automatically. Why? Why? Teenagers and adults တွေအားတဲ့နော် language ကိုသူတို့ကအလိုလျောက်မရရှိဘူးတဲ့ဘာဖြစ်လို့လဲ
Because they think.
Yeah. They think what?
At the early age, we didn't do the learning process. We just did the acquisitions, like the way you mentioned about autonomous. They just absorb the language because of the exposure. But when you get older and you already have one language, like your mother tongue, and everything that you think, everything that you will learn, you will kind of subconsciously related to that another language. So yeah, it kind of stop you from learning a new language.
So it makes you stuck in your mother language, you mean, right?
Yes.
Okay. If so, you mean that the mother language is a kind of, how can I say, disturbance, right? Or barrier to learn another language?
Okay, it's like one of the reasons, but not all the cases.
Yeah, one of the reasons. Yeah. Yeah, you are right, right? When you become teenagers or adults, when you want to do something, you think. And also, you also have the anxiety, right? For example, like you want to produce something, you want to speak something, you think, oh, I may be wrong, or like I may be right. And the other thing is also related to the mental development, right? For the children, whatever you teach, whatever you deliver, they will learn everything. They will not think this is right or wrong. They will learn everything that you teach, right? And also, they also have a very good learning power in their, childhood compared to the teenagers and adulthood. When you become adults, when you become a teenagers, yes, you are right. When we want to do something new, we think. The other thing is, our mother tongue is a kind of barrier, is a kind of block to learn another language. There are also many other things, right? So, but the teenagers and adults can become more efficient learners because they have more thinking power. Like the children will learn something by using much time. But the teenagers and adults will think the most effective way of learning. That's why they can become more efficient learners. And the other thing is, the circumstances and developmental stages are also different, right? When you teach children a language, okay, no, you can use the book. You read this book in order to learn the new words. This is for the child. But for the adults and teenagers, when the teacher gives you a book, you will read the book, you will watch the movie of the book, or you will search other new words and other related books or other movies or the book, you will use different ways of learning, right? Once you learn something new or once you learn a language. That's why circumstances and developmental stages are very different between the children and teenagers and adults. Okay, next one. So up to the first bullet and second bullets are related to language acquisition. If acquisition is a subconscious process, learning is the conscious process that we do something, right? For example, like we will learn how to use the different tenses or think carefully about the word order adjectives and also concentrate on, which part should be stressed in the word. No, stress are paid about, no? Feed them, put them, December, no? December, so that's December, feed about November, October, right? Stress started at the like the same. Okay, so language acquisition results from subconscious process, subconscious learning. Language learning results from conscious learning process. That's why language acquisition of the language learning. Language learning is a conscious process.
Teacher, is this for the second language learner or first language learner?
Actually, for the second language learner, right?
Yes.
For your mother tongue, you don't need to learn, effortfully.
Yes.
You don't need to learn seriously. For example, for my mother tongue, I don't need to spend much time. I don't need to pay much attention. I get the language imposed automatically. But to learn the English language, I have to put lots of effort. So, as a foreign language, it could be the foreign language. This is the second language for the second language learner or foreign language learner. This is the language learning.
Can I know your question again?
What are the differences between language acquisition and language learning? Why do we need to do in a conscious process in order to learn another language, in order to learn a foreign language?
And first thing that came to my mind for this question is you don't actually need to learn the second language in order to live. Unless you are going to abroad or you are going to another community, you should learn another language, right?
Yeah,
so
hello.
that is the first things that came to my mind.
Sorry, can you repeat again, please?
In order to learn a second language, we don't necessarily need to do that if we already know one language, and that is enough supporting for us to live in our communities. The people who speak the same language, but
we
if
don't
you have to
necessarily
go to,
need to do that. Okay, go on.
but only if we have to go to another community that speak another language, or if you want to achieve academically, that's how we end up learning second language.
Yeah. Okay, it's like the immersion, right? If you go to another community or another society, you can learn the second language effortlessly, right? Easily.
No. Chair, I'm talking about the reason why we have to learn second language.
Why we have to learn the second language? Okay.
And your
Okay,
question
let's
is
go on.
like,
Thank you. My question is,
we have to sit in class, we have to do the traditional way or language process because we don't do that anymore subconsciously when we are trying to learn a new language, right? I'm sorry, I'm making you confused.
I know language acquisition ကကျတော့ subconscious process ပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒီကနေဖြစ်နေတာ Wi-Fi ရလား ညောင်းနေရရတယ်ဟုတ်ပြီရပြီ okay it's okay now okay thank you now we'll go to next slide hello can you hear me
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Yes, I can.
okay good so here some definitions right definitions of language acquisition and language learning အဲ့တော့စောစောအကြောင်းလေးပြီးတော့မှဆက်ပြီးဆွေးနွေးမယ်နော် Here you see the language acquisition is based on neuropsychological process because it's different from language learning because language acquisition occurs from subconscious process like we are getting the first language inputs. Language acquisition is an integral part of the unity of all language. Integral part means like the essential, not separated part of the unity of all language. It's also important for the unity of all languages. Next one, defining language learning. It occurs from conscious process, like formal learning situation or self-study program, right? It's also the integral part of the unity of all language. So here, the terms formal learning situations. What kind of learning situations are formal learning situation? In order to learn a language.
When we go to school and we go to class to study, this is formal learning.
Yeah, this is formal learning. Yeah, go to school.
Yeah. The formal learning, everything is systematically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is done systematically, right? Structurally.
Yeah.
Systematically, structurally, and also the self-study program, like you learn like 10 new words today. Tomorrow, you also learn another 10 new words. The next day, another 10 new words. Like that, this is also a self-study program that you learn systematically and structurally. Right? Okay, these are the definitions of language acquisition and language learning. So, why is this important? Why does the difference between acquisition and learning matter? Why are there important differences, right? Why does the difference between acquisition and learning matter? Here you see, like all over the world, right? Students learn languages. They are taught the grammar, the functions, and words. But some people think, oh, this is the wrong way to do. But instead of doing that, like some people will say, oh, we should give lots of exposure to the language and also to use the language with lots of opportunities in their life, right? Just as we learn our mother tongue. So related to this, there is a scholar, Stephen Krashen. He developed the input hypothesis. Input hypothesis. It means like people get the language if they get the comprehensible input, right? Understandable input. This means the language is given to the language that is given to the child is a little beyond their own level, a little above their own level. But they can understand to some extent, right? Stephen Krashen suggests we should give our children comprehensible input. This is all they need. I really want to be I don't comprehensible input ko piya no to the above their own level လောက်ရှိတဲ့ဟုတ်လားအကြောင်းအရာလေးတွေပေါ့ဆိုတော့ဒါကတော့ဟုတ်လားစံလေးလုံးတစ်ပြီတည်ခိုင်းမဲ့စာနှစ်ပြီလောက်တည်ခိုင်းမဲ့ဒါမှမဟုတ်တစ်ပြီခွဲလောက်တည်ခိုင်းမဲ့ပေါ့လေးလုံးလောက်တစ်ပြီလောက်ပဲတည်ခိုင်းမဲ့ဆိုရင်တော့သူတို့က easy going ပဲတရားမှန်းတော့သိမှာမဟုတ်ဘူးသူတို့နည်းနည်းလေးပေါ့နော်သူရဲ့ comfort zone တဲ့နည်းနည်းလေးမြင့်တဲ့ဥစ္စာလေး comfort level တဲ့နည်းနည်းမြင့်တာလေးကိုပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုလေးပေးမယ်ဆိုရင်ဒါသူ့အတွက်တိုင်းနာတစ်ခုလေးသူနားလဲသွားမယ်ဒါ comprehensible input လေးဖြစ်တယ်ပေါ့အဲ့လိုလေးပြောတာအဲ့လိုပဲနဲ့အလွယ်ကူသေးလေးလွယ်လွယ်လေးပဲပေးမယ်ဆိုတော့ဒါ easy going ပဲသူတို့ကဒါအချိန်ကုန်တာပဲအဖတ်တင်မယ်ပေါ့သဘောတရားကအဲ့တော့ comprehensible input ကိုပေးရမယ်တဲ့ acquisition ပြောဆိုရင် next one right Krashen suggests we learn it consciously. The language we learn consciously is different from the language we acquire through comprehensible input. So this is the first one is called learned language. We use the learned language to check our conversation or our writing, to check our speech, right? But these corrections and check-ins may stop us being fluent because we are worried about our mistakes or we are worried, right, whether we are speaking correctly or not. So he said that the learned language could not become acquired language. What did you do about no? How was she saying? Hobby, I don't. Learn language ဆိုတာဆိုတော့ language learning ပေါ့ learning ရရှိလာတဲ့ language ကိုပြောတာအဲ့လိုမျိုးတွေနဲ့ဘာတက်တော့မှလဲကိုယ့်ရဲ့ essay တွေရေးမယ် essay တွေ letter တွေရေးမယ် speech တွေရေးမယ်ဒါမှမဟုတ်တကယ်ကို smart ကြပြောမယ်ဒါမျိုးတွေတွေ့ပေါ့နော်ကိုကနေပြောလုံးမယ်ဆိုရင်တဲ့အဲ့လိုမျိုး frequent check-ins တွေအားဆိုရင်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ကျွမ်းကျင်မှုကိုလာပြီးဟန်တာဖြစ်စေမယ်ဒါမျိုးလေးကိုပြော Do you agree with that statement? I know the body la. Hello, but you're gonna be able to check in lonely by sewing. Go joining board hand up your sim. Agree or not?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, you totally agree, right? Obi? Now sewing, fluent people sewing, don't worry about their mistakes. Yeah, that pure challenge. Yeah, that pure life, no? ရေးတဲ့နေရာမှာတော့ဒါတကယ် academic writing ဆိုရင်တော့ grammar တွေပါတယ် feature မှန်ဖို့အတွက်လိုအပ်တာပေါ့အပြောမှာတော့ဒါတစ်ဖက်လိုနားလဲတော့ပြောရင်ကြားရင်အစင်းမြင့် level ရောက်သွားတဲ့အခါမှာမှန်သွားမှာဟုတ်ပြီတဲ့နော်ဒါကြောင့်မို့ Krashen ရဲ့ input hypothesis ကိုတခြားသောပညာရှင်တွေကမေးခွန်းထုတ်ကြတယ်ကဲ၍တဲ့နော်မင်းရရှိတဲ့ language ကိုဟာသင်ယူပြီးတော့ရရှိတာလားဒါမှမဟုတ် automatically acquisition လားအလိုလျောက်ရရှိတာလားဆိုတော့မပြောနိုင်ရင်အဲ့ဒါကိုတော့ပြပြလို့မရပါဘူးတဲ့ဒါမျိုးလေးပြောတာပေါ့ဟုတ်ပြီ the last paragraph you know lots of people say that suggest that right exposure to comprehensible input is not enough for people to know and able to speak a language there's to an element of conscious attention to the actual language that is being used in the input. Conscious attention or actual language. This is important and let us have reach like the teenagers and adults, right? အဲ့တော့ဒီမှာတော့ပြောရတယ် comprehensible input ကတဲ့မင်းဘာသာစကားတစ်ခုကိုကောင်းကောင်းပြောနိုင်ဖို့နော်ပြီးဖို့ဆိုရင် comprehensible input နဲ့မလုံလောက်ဘူးတဲ့ actual language ကိုလည်းပဲလေ့လာရမယ်လို့ပြောတယ် You agree or not? Actual language ဆိုတာဘယ်လိုမျိုးလဲ right အဲ့တော့ comprehensible input ဆိုတာတော့ဘာနဲ့တူလဲဆိုတော့တို့တွေရဲ့ကျောင်းသုံးစာအုပ်တွေမှာသုံးထားတဲ့အသုံးအနှုန်းတွေပေါ့ဥပမာအင်္ဂလိပ်စာအုပ်တွေမှာဆို story တွေပေါ့ကွယ်သုံးထားတယ်ရေးထားတယ်ဒါတွေဖတ်ရတယ်အဲ့တော့ modify လုပ်ထားတာသူတို့ကအားလုံးကမူရင်းအရေးအသားတိုင်းမဟုတ်ဘူးပြန်ပြီးတော့ modify လုပ်ထားတာသင်ယူသူတွေသူ့ရဲ့အစိမ့်နဲ့သူနားလည်အောင်လို့ပြန်ပြီးတော့ပြုပြင်ပြီးတော့ရေးထားတာပေါ့အဲ့ဒါ comprehensible input actual language ဆိုတာတော့တကယ်မူရင်းစာရေးဆရာတွေရေးတဲ့အတိုင်းကိုဒါကလေးတွေကိုသင်ပေးတာထိတွေ့ခွင့်ပေးတာပေါ့နော်ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ actual language ကိုလည်းပဲလေ့လာရမယ်တဲ့နော်လူကျန်တဲ့ပညာရှင်တွေကအကြံပြုတာပေါ့ဥပမာတို့တွေဟာလား speaking နေစာအုပ်တွေကနေလေ့လာတယ်နော်ကျောင်းစာအုပ်တွေကလေ့လာတယ်ရုပ်ရှင်ကားတွေတကယ်နိုင်ငံခြားကားတွေကြည့်လဲကြည့်ရောသိပြီးတော့နားမလည်ဘူးအားလုံးကိုနားမလည်ဘူးနော်အနေချင်းပဲတချို့ပဲနားလဲတာဒါပဲတော့လေ actual language ကိုသူတို့ကသုံးနေတာနော်ဒါတော့မှပဲသူတို့ကဇာညွှန်းရေးဆရာတွေရေးထားတယ်နော်စာသားတွေကိုပြောရတာသူတို့ရဲ့နေ့စဉ်ဘဝနဲ့တော့နည်းနည်းကွာသေးတယ်စာသားတွေဆိုတော့လှပအောင်ကောင်းမွန်အောင်ပြောရတာပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးတွေရှိတယ်ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ actual comprehensible input ကြီးပဲသုံးမယ်ဆိုရင်နော် actual language ကိုရရှိတာမျိုး actual language ကိုရရှိတဲ့အဆင့်ကိုမရောက်နိုင်ဘူးပေါ့ဒါမျိုးကိုပြောတာဟုတ်လားလက်ခံလား
လက်ခံပါတယ်
လက်ခံပါတယ်ရှင်
အဲ့တော့ silent is saying yes ပေါ့ဟုတ်လား okay we'll go to next slide စိတ်နေခြင်းကဝန်ခံခြင်းပေါ့လက်ခံတယ်ဟုတ်ပြီ so there are some factors affecting the language acquisition ဒါလေးကိုဖတ်ကြည့်ပါဦး language acquisition နဲ့ language learning ကိုပတ်ရောက်စေတဲ့အချက်တွေပေါ့ Okay တယောက်လောက်အတန်ထွက်ပြီးတော့ဖတ်ပြပါဦး factors affecting language acquisition Someone please. Wait, 025, are you okay to read this one? Phone number
Okay.
025. Okay, go on.
Okay.
Please read the first one, 1.4.
Yes. Faster effective language acquisition, HNSAT, content, mass media and socialization, intelligence, concentration and curiosity, outlook and aptitude, home and social environment, personal and lifestyle, companionship, experiences and exposure, connection, abilities, culture and status, nativity, access to native speaker, LAT, language acquisition device, motivation, interests and
Extrinsic.
study intrinsic. Yes. Learners trace and situational factor, period and enlargement and know-how. Age and brain maturity, gene and Melanie Clark.
ဘေးနားကတော့စာရေးသူတွေပေါ့နော်ရပါတယ်အဲ့ဒါတော့ဟုတ်ပြီအဲ့တော့ factors affecting language acquisition right there are lots of factors အဲ့တော့အသက်အရွယ်နဲ့ကြားမှာပေါ့တချို့ကြောင့်လည်းပဲယောက်ျားလေးဖြစ်မိန်းလေးသူကနေတော့ language ကသင်ယူမှုကပိုလို့ကောင်းတာပေါ့နော်အဲ့တော့ language ဒါတော့ acquisition ပေါ့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ mother tongue နဲ့ပတ်သက်တဲ့ဥစ္စာတွေပြောနေတာအထူးသဖြင့်ယောက်ျားလေးမိန်းကလေးဆိုရင်ဟုတ်လားဟိုပြောရရင်တော့တချို့ယောက်ျားလေးတွေစကားတော်တော်နေတယ်လေဒါကြောင့်မလို့ sex ပေါ့ male female ပေါ့ motive ပြီးတော့လည်းပဲ language acquisition ကကွာသွားတာပေါ့ကိုနေတဲ့ပတ်ဝန်းကျင်မှာစကားများများပြောတဲ့သူဟုတ်လားဒီလိုမျိုးအတိုင်းဝိုင်းမှာမိသားစုမှာနေမယ်ဆိုရင်တော့ language inputs တွေအများကြီးရမှာနော် context ပေါ့ mass media and socialization တချို့ကြောင့်လည်းပဲတယောက်တည်းပဲနော်ငြိမ်ငြိမ်သက်သက်လေးနေတာပေါ့ချို့ကြောင့်လည်းပဲငွေချင်းနေနဲ့သွားလာပြောဆိုအဲ့လိုမျိုးဒါတွေပေါ်မတီးတော့လည်းပဲ context ကြောင့်လည်းပဲ language acquisition ကိုပွားသွားတာမျိုးရှိတယ်။နောက်ဉာဏ်ရည်ဉာဏ်သွေးတွေ concentration ပေါ့နော်အာရုံစူးစိုက်မှုတွေ curiosity right သိလို့စိတ်တွေပေါ့သိလို့စိတ်တွေ curiosity ဒါတွေကျအကြောင်းလည်းပဲ language acquisition ပေါ်တတ်တယ်။ချို့ကြောင့်အရင်ပဲတက်လို့စိတ်ပြီးလို့စိတ်ပြင်းပြတော့ကိုမသိရင်မေးမယ်ကိုယ်တိုင်လည်းရှာဖွေမယ်ချို့ကြောင့်လည်းပဲပေးသလောက်ပဲပေါ့နော်ဒါလေးပြောလိုက်ရင်ဒီလောက်ပဲမှတ်ထားတယ်အဲ့ဒါတည်းတိုးပြီးတော့မမှတ်တော့ဘူးမလေ့လာတော့ဘူးအဲ့လိုလေးရှိတယ် outlook and aptitude ပေါ့ outlook ဆိုတာတော့အမြင်ပေါ့နော်ဒါမျိုးတွေဒါကတော့ချက်ထွင်တွေးတောမှုတွေပေါ့အမြင်အဲ့တော့ပေါင်းခြင်းပေါ့အမြင်နောက်တစ်ခါလူတွေနဲ့ပေါင်းသင်းမှုပေါ့နော်ဒါတွေလည်းပေါ့ aptitude ဆိုတာတော့အထုံဝါဒနာပေါ့ဒါတော့အထုံဝါဒနာဆိုကိုယ့်ရဲ့ပင်ကိုဗီဇအထုံဝါဒနာကိုပြောတာ home and social environment ချို့ကြောင့်လည်းပဲချို့မိသားစုတွေကစကားအင်တာနက်တွေနော်တချို့မိသားစုတွေကြောင့်လည်းပဲကိုမိသားစုတွေစုံပြီးအချင်းချင်းတောင်းတော့စကားတွေကိုပေါ့နော်လှိုင်အောင်ပြောတဲ့အခြေအနေမျိုးတွေရှိတာပေါ့ဒါတွေလည်းပဲကွာသွားတယ်ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ရုပ်ရှင်ကားတစ်ခုထဲမှာဆိုရင်သူကယောက်ျားနဲ့မိန်းမပေါ့နော်လင်မယားနှစ်ယောက်ပြောတာသူယောက်ျားစကားတော်တော်နေတာသူမိန်းမတော့စကားမြင်စကားပြောတယ်ကမင်းချက်နေလဲစကားပြောထိုင်နေလဲပြောပေါ့နော်အဲ့ဒါနဲ့သူယောက်ျားသူ့စကားများလို့ပြောတယ်အဲ့ဒါနဲ့အမျိုးသမီးကဘာပြန်ပြောလဲဆိုတော့ရှင်တို့လိုလူတွေသားတဲ့နော်အများကြီးကဘာဝများပြားနေတယ်ဟောရှင်တို့လိုလူတွေသားအများပြားရှိနေရင်တဲ့လူသားမျိုးတို့ရဲ့စကားပြောအင်္ကာတွေချို့ယွင်းသွားလိမ့်မယ်ဟုတ်လားဒါ home နဲ့ social environment နဲ့ပတ်သက်တာပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုရှိတယ်ဒါမှမဟုတ်နောက် personal lifestyle 就叫那边，我说到不了，等个今年的多啊嘛，拉嘛，大မျိုးတွေနော် companionship နော် companionship ကိုပေါင်းတဲ့နဲ့မိတ်ဆွေပေါင်းတဲ့စကားအေဝလိုက်အောင်ပြောတဲ့သူလားစကားနေတဲ့သူလားဒါတွေလည်း language acquisition ကိုတော့တက်ရောက်မှုရှိတာပဲ experience and exposure နဲ့ cognition abilities ပေါ့ဒါကတော့သူ့ရဲ့အသိဖွံ့ဖြိုးမှုပေါ့နော်စွမ်းရည်တွေကိုပြောတာပါ cognition abilities တွေပြောတာချို့ကြတော့လည်းပဲသူ့ရဲ့ learning ability ကကောင်းကောင်းမလုပ်နိုင်ဘူးပေါ့နော်ချို့ကြတော့လည်း learning power အရန်ကောင်းတယ် cognition abilities နောက် culture and status ဒါတွေလည်းကွာတာပေါ့ဒါပြင်ကျွန်တော်တို့အရှိတိုင်းပေါ့နော်ကျွန်တော်တို့နိုင်ငံရေးကြေးမှုရှိတော့အရှကြေးမှုဆိုရင်ဒါစကားပြောတဲ့ချိန်မှာ sorry ထမင်းစားတဲ့ချိန်မှာစကားမပြောရဘူးဒါမျိုးတွေရှိတာပေါ့နောက်တိုင်းမှာကျတော့ထမင်းစားပြီးလူစုံကမှသူတို့စကားပြောတယ်ထမင်းလဲစားစကားလေးပြောအဲ့လိုမျိုးရှိတာပေါ့ဒါကတော့ယဉ်ကျေးမှုကွာခြားချက်ပေါ့ဒီဘက်ကစဉ်းစားကြည့်ရင်လည်းပဲထမင်းစားတဲ့ချိန်မှာမိသားစုတွေကစုံနေတာအဲ့ချိန်မှာကိုယ့်ရဲ့နှိမ့်ဆက်တူကတွေ့ကြုံတဲ့အကြောင်းအရာတွေကိုတရားတယောက်နဲ့တယောက်ဖလှယ်ကြဆွေးနွေးကြပြောကြဒါလည်းပဲသူကကောင်းတဲ့ချက်တွေလည်းရှိပါတယ် nativity တဲ့နော် access to native speaker ဒါတွေပေါ်မူတည်ပြီးတော့လည်းပဲဒါတွေကြောင့်လည်းပဲဒါ language acquisition ဟာကွာခြားသွားနိုင်တယ်နောက် language acquisition device တွေအဲ့တော့ဘာသာစကားကိုလေ့လာတဲ့အခါမှာရရှိတဲ့အခါမှာဆိုရင်မျိုးစုံအဲ့တော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့မိသားစုတွေစီကနေတက order ကနေရရှိမယ်ချို့ကြလည်းပဲကိုနေတဲ့နေရာမှာဟာလာ mass media ပေါ့ဒါမျိုးတွေလည်းအများကြီးပဲရှိတယ်အချင်းတွေနားထောင်ဖို့အတွက် device တွေရှိတယ်ဗီဒီယိုတွေကြည့်ဖို့အတွက် device တွေရှိတယ် motivation intrinsic and extrinsic motivation ပေါ့ intrinsic motivation ဆိုတာတော့စိတ်တွင်းစေ့ဆော်မှုပေါ့ extrinsic motivation ဆိုတာတော့ပြင်ပစေ့ဆော်မှုပေါ့အတွင်းစိတ်စေ့ဆော်မှုဆိုတာကကိုယ့်ရဲ့ပင်ကိုယ်စိတ်ကိုပြိလို့စိတ်တက်ပြိလို့စိတ်ပြင်းပြနေတဲ့အခါမှာဘယ်သူမှတိုက်တွန်းစရာမလိုဘူး extrinsic motivation ကတော့ပြင်ပကတိုက်တွန်းလို့ပဲလုပ်ရတာပြင်ပကတိုက်တွန်းမှုမရှိရင်သူ့ရဲ့ဘဝကြီးကမတိုးတက်လာနိုင်ဘူးပေါ့နော်အဲ့လိုမျိုးပေါ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့ဒီလို motivation ကြောင့်လည်းပဲဒါ language acquisition ကကွာခြားသွားနိုင်တယ်ခြားတဲ့ prior language enlargement and know how ပေါ့ချို့ဆိုရင်ငယ်စဉ်တည်းကမိသားစုတွေကသူ့ရဲ့ကလေးရဲ့အသက်အရွယ်လိုက်ဖတ်ဖို့အတွက်စာအုပ်တွေနော်ကြည့်ဖို့အတွက်ရုပ်ရှင်ကားလေးတွေကာတွန်းကားလေးတွေဝယ်ပေးထားတယ်ဒါ prior language enlargement ဒါတွေပေါ့နောက်က age and brain maturity လူတွေရဲ့အသက်အရွယ်နဲ့အုံနောက်စွမ်းရည်ရင့်ကျက်မှုတွေပေါ့နော်ဒါတွေကြောင့်လည်းပဲဒါ language acquisition ကကွာခြားသွားနိုင်တယ် Okay, next one. Factors affecting language learning. Okay. 009, please. Factors affecting language learning. 009. Are you okay? How about 010? Okay. 009. Oh, yeah. Also 010. Right?
Hi, teacher.
Yeah.
1.2 factor affecting language learning, language anxiety, trepidations or utilizing new language, UL, language ego, apprehensions or committing mistakes, motivation, age, sex, contents, and input factors, aptitudes, attitude, and cognitive style, personality, and instructional 5-star. Did I do that correctly?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, correct. Okay. Yeah, okay, can you repeat, please, one more time?
1.2 Factors affecting language learning, language anxiety, trepidations or utilizing new L, language ego, apprehensions of committing mistakes, motivation, age, sex, context, and input factors, aptitudes, attitudes, and cognitive style, personality, and instructional vista.
Yeah, instruction and based are correct, right? Okay, these factors can, block the language learning, like language anxiety. For example, when you learn a new language, you will have anxiety. Like trepidation means worry, right? I know. Trepidation of utilizing new language. New mean new language. Like now you learn a new language, you learn new words, you learn new sentences. In this case, you are worried about. It's also similar to the second language ego. You are worried and you are afraid of using your new knowledge related to the language. Next one, language ego, apprehension of committing mistake, right? Afraid of committing mistake. Right? You are worried whether I make mistakes or whether if I make mistake, whether my friends will make fun of me or will laugh at me. Like that, apprehension of committing mistake. Motivation, right? For strong motivation, the low motivation, high motivation. These factors also affect the language learning. And other things, aptitude, right? Aptitudes are toward another. Aptitudes are the border, no? Say the border. Cognitive style. Cognitive style. သူရဲ့အသိဉာဏ်အသိဖွံ့ဖြိုးမှုပေါ့နော်ဒါမျိုးတွေ personality and instructional based personality ချို့ကြောင့်လည်းတကယ် open mind ပဲ fixed mind မဟုတ်ဘူးအဲ့တော့ mind မှာတခုကြောင့် open mind ရယ် fixed mind ရယ်ပေါ့ open mind ဆိုတာကတော့ငါ့ကိုဘယ်လောက်ပဲသင်ပေးငါလက်ခံနေမယ်ဟောငါတစ်စုံတစ်ခုရလိုက်တာပဲငါသင်ယူရမှာပေါ့ဒါ open mindset ပေါ့ fixed mindset FIXED fixed mindset ဆိုတာကဒါတွေကငါသိပြီးသားပါကွာနော်သင်ယူစရာမလိုတော့ဘူးလည်းအချင်းကုန်တယ်ဒါမျိုးပေါ့နော်အဲ့ personality ဒါတွေလည်းရှိတယ် next one instructional business ဆိုတော့ instructional methods တွေပေါ့သူ့ကိုသင်ကြားပြသပေးတဲ့နည်းလမ်းတွေဒါတွေရလည်းပဲတော့ language learning ပေါ် affect ဖြစ်ပါတယ်အဲ့လိုလေဒီအဲ့တော့ဒီ slide မှာအားလုံးနားလေလားနားမလဲတာရှိသေးလား You understand everything in this slide?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Good. So, which way is best in order to learn a language? Right? Which way is the best in order to learn a language? So, right? The best way, right? To go and live in a country where the language is spoken. This is the best way, but it is difficult to make it happen. Once you live in another country, once you live in a different society, you will have lots of language inputs and lots of language opportunities. But is it easy for children or adults? No, right? Mostly we learn the languages in the classroom because we don't have the opportunity to live in another country or foreign country. This means you will not get like much amount of exposure to the language. So, can you guess how many hours of language exposure do you get if you, in a classroom, once you learn a foreign language?
1 hour a day.
1 hour a day, yeah? 1 hour
And
a
like
day,
5 hours in a week.
5 hours in a week. Okay. And also, if so, you mean that the whole hour, the teacher is using the English language for the whole hour or not?
No, I mean the learning class in our country.
Yeah, the learning class in our country, you mean one period, 1 hour, right?
Yes, 1 hour.
1 hour, one period lasts for 1 hour. But even in that 1 hour, like me, I use the English, sometimes I use the Myanmar language, not totally the whole hour, right? When in
Yes,
school, it's more difficult to get the whole hour of exposure for the language, right? But the class time is about the 50 minutes or 45 minutes. But in that minute, when the teacher arrives the class, he prepares something like the preparation time. He used the Myanmar language, and also he will explain the lesson in English and also Myanmar, right? Even the 1 hour, yeah, it is very good if you get the 1 hour completely. But it's difficult to get the whole 1 hour of language exposure in the classroom, right? So second point is, so if we count that, like think about it, 40 minutes, one period in a day, 40 into 5, right? 200 minutes. But the other times, we are using our Myanmar language, our native language. That's why we have to spend more and more time, right? In order to learn that when we learn a language. So most educationists believe that children are not ready to learn language and to study grammar because of their age. That's why the important thing is to give the acquisition-like activities for the children instead of teaching the pure grammar. Second point was the border.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is that? Yeah, children are not ready to learn language, like to study grammar because of their age. Instead of that, acquisition-like activities may be the best. Why?
because of the overwhelming.
Overwhelming what?
And the reason is because of their age.
Yeah, their age, right? So
They
if you
cannot
teach the grammar when they are young, what can happen to them?
confuse.
It is very difficult for them.
Yeah, they will feel confused. It is very difficult for them to learn the technical knowledge. That's why acquisition-like activities are the best for the young children. So acquisition-like activities, what kinds of activities are acquisition-like activities?
Acquisition activity is the activity that we don't need to pay much attention. We get it easily. We get it from around, from other people around us.
Yeah,
And
from other people around us.
we have many opportunity to use it as much as often is possible in our society.
Okay, so in a classroom, what are some examples of acquisition-like activities? Please think, right? Please think.
In classroom, we get it mother tongue from other people, friends, teachers, so many other people, so we get it easily.
Yeah. Yes. And also friends and people around us, and also like the singing, the kids songs. narrating their poems or rhymes, right? These are the acquisition-like activities. And also like playing games, right? Drawing activities. Yes, art. Art. For example, when you are drawing something, you speak in English. When you are singing, even though the children will not understand the meaning of the lyrics, the meaning of the song. But if they are good at singing, so it's like the acquisition activities and showing flashcard. Yes. Like we said before, like the look and see method, right? Look and see method you can use. So some students seem to acquire a new language without too much effort. Many others want to examine and understand what they are being exposed to. So this is also because of their cognitive development and also their personality and lifestyle or prior language enrichment. ဒါတွေကြောင့်လည်းပဲတချို့ကကြတော့ effort အများကြီးထုတ်เสียမလိုဘူး For example, if you are very good at in your mother tongue, like you are good at speaking, you are good at writing, you are good at reading in your mother tongue, you will not be very difficult when you learn another language. အဲ့တော့ဘာသာစကားတခုကိုကိုယ်နဲ့ဆက်ပေါ့နော်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့မိခင်ဘာသာစကားကိုလည်းပဲကောင်းကောင်းမမို့အဲ့လိုကျွမ်းကျင်ထားပဲဆိုရင်နောက်ဘာသာစကားတခုကိုလေ့လာရတာသိပြီးတော့ခက်ခဲမရှိဘူးအဲ့လိုလေးရှိတယ်ကိုယ့်ရဲ့ဘာသာစကားမှလည်းပဲစာဖတ်တက်ကမရင်ဘူးကောင်းကောင်းလည်းမရေးတတ်ဘူးဆိုရင်တခြားဘာသာစကားကိုလေ့လာတဲ့အခါမှာခက်ခဲရှိနိုင်တယ်အဲ့လိုလေးတွေပေါ့ So which way is the best? Now let's see the language teaching methods. Okay, next one here. So, right, into this, most of the classroom use the mixture activities, like focusing on acquisition and focusing on learning. Acquisition, ကြီးပဲပေါမယ်ဆိုရင်လည်းပဲဒါစောစောပြောတဲ့ technical knowledge တွေမရပဲဖြစ်မှာပေါ့ဒါမှမဟုတ် mixture လေးပေါ့တကူရောပြီးတော့တောင်း Many teaching methods have focused more on learning than acquisition. In this, so teachers give their student individual grammar and vocabulary items one by one. One by one. Like some teaching methods concentrated more on acquisition than learning, but some methods, that's why teachers involve their students in communication and encourage them to think more about the content of what they say than the form of the language. Acquisition, learning, acquisition of focus of the series, content ko be later about form of the language ko take it through focus below you. The time is Sagloni who lila kama leve, no? Majority Sagloni to lila repo. Lila kama soy, Eddie Sagloni net to a video. What lady work lila ton? We are society autonomy. Community lila ton. Aluminum bone, one by one by bona, vocabulary items to one by lila ton so through pyramid. System me boa kayene. The Jamlo was a ground date along Yabi soy, which are my tape the tone line. Be at out, Tatalele pyramid useful. ဒါဆိုရင်အဲ့ဒါကကိုမှဘယ်နည်းပြောခေါင်းထဲမှာအမြင့်တွေ့သွားမယ်ပေါ့မဟုတ်ဘဲနဲ့စကလုံးတွေကြီးပဲဆိုရင်စကလုံးတွေကတော့အများကြီးပဲဒါပေမဲ့တကယ်ပြောလဲဆိုတော့ပြောဖို့ကproduction ကမလုပ်တတ်တော့ဘူးအဲ့လိုမျိုးလေးရှိတယ်ဒါကြောင့် acquisition ကကျတော့ content နဲ့ဆိုင်တယ် learning ဆိုတော့ form of the language တွေနဲ့ဆိုင်သွားတာပေါ့နော်နောက်ဆုံးပိုက်ကလေးရ Over here, right? How Fernando learned English. Everyone, please read this. 055, please read aloud 055.
Manager.
Yeah, go on.
How Fernando learns English? Fernando Torres, a footballer from Spain who was raised in the UK, said that he learns English there by listening to the radio a lot, and while he was doing is trying to concentrate on what he was hearing. It also was looking at these advertisements at the sides of the roads and trying to notice what this says and what this meaning was. When he had noticed the words in this advertisement, concentrated on the words so that he could recognize them again. Then he could learn that. In other words, he had exposure to the language that then he thought consciously about what he was seeing and hearing. Conscious, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. This is about the language learning journey of the Fernando Torres, right? အဲ့တော့ဒီမှာဆိုရင်ပြောရတာကသူရေဒီယိုသူနားထောင်နေပြီးတော့သူဘာပြောလဲဆိုတာကိုအာရုံစိုက်တယ်ပေါ့အဲ့လိုမျိုးလေးနဲ့ပြီးတော့တဲ့အခါမှာဘာတွေစိုက်တော့သူလေးလာလဲအဲ့လိုမျိုးတွေလေးလိုက်ပြီးတော့သူ advertisement တွေပေါ့နော်ကြော်ညာတွေကစာတွေလည်းသူဖတ်တယ်မျိုးစုံဒါဆိုရင်စောစောပြောတယ် listening impulse ရသွားပြီဟော advertisement တွေ pamphlets တွေစာတွေကိုဖတ်တော့ reading impulse ထပ်ပြီးတော့ရတာပေါ့အကြောင်းအရာတွေတော့ထပ်ပြီးတော့လေ့လာအဲ့လိုမျိုးသဘောတရားနဲ့ပေါ့ then he could learn them, right? And also he had exposure to the language ဟုတ်ပါတယ် radio မှာ listening တော့ radio ကနေ exposure ရတယ်နောက်သူရဲ့သွားလာတဲ့ပေါင်းချင်းမှာ advertisement တွေ roadside မှာရှိတယ်နော် advertisement တွေကိုသူဖတ်တယ်ဒါလည်း exposure ပဲအဲ့လိုမျိုးတယ်အဲ့လိုမြင်တဲ့အခါသူကတခုရှိတာက he thought consciously about what he was seeing and hearing consciously သူတကယ်အာယုံစိုက်ပြီးသူလေ့လာသင်ပြီးတော့သူဆက်ပြီးတော့သူစဉ်းစားတာနော်ဆက်ပြီးစဉ်းစားတယ်ဒါကြောင့်သူက motivation ပို့ပြီးတော့များတာဟုတ်ဒါမျိုးလေးတွေပေါ့ဒါကြောင့်မလို့လည်းပဲဒါ language ကိုလေ့လာတဲ့အခါမှာအဲ့လိုလေးနဲ့လေ့လာမယ်ဆိုရင်ပို့ပြီးတော့မြန်ဆန်ဆန်ဆဆတက်မြောက်တာ Thank you. So here, the four methods of language teaching. Even though, right, there are lots of the teaching methods, but there is no the best one. The best one so that this is because, you know, students learn the language differently because of their differences related to the student. But teaching methods often change as a society itself changes. Maybe the first point which you meant, different students learn differently because of the differentiation. အဲ့ဒါလေးကိုပြောကြည့်ပါဦးကျောင်းသားတွေကတယောက်နဲ့တယောက်သင်ယူပုံကြီးမတူကြဘူးတဲ့တယောက်နဲ့တယောက်မတူညီကြလို့ differentiation so 043 why ဘယ်လိုမတူညီကြတာလဲဘာတွေမတူညီကြတာလဲ
I think because of their learning methods.
Because of their learning methods or what learning methods? Don't know the thing you won't below me to Nijara, eh? The two are below the you will the two are below the Ujala.
Some like to study by themselves, but the other don't like
Yeah.
to study themselves.
Mm.
The one are
Yeah.
guide, like as a teacher or parents.
Yeah. Okay, you are right. Next one, 090.
Hello, teacher.
Hello.
Can you hear
Okay,
me?
learning style. Learning style ဘာတွေရှိလဲဘာတွေမှတ်မိသေးလဲ
Oh, learning style. I think learning style have three styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, auditory, kinesthetic, and visual.
Yeah, visual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, visual, kinesthetic, and auditory learning style. ဟုတ်ပြီ auditory learner ကဘယ်လိုလေ့လာတာကြိုက်လဲ
He likes and think use like listening to songs and like group discussions, like a presentation.
Okay, presentation. Okay, thank you. 122. How about the visual learner? What are the characteristics of visual learner? 122. Are you okay to talk? 122. Or 066, sorry, 068.
As a vice learner, I think he or she prefer to learn by reading a book or watching TV.
Yeah.
He preferred to do by using his or her eye.
Visual learner, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He preferred to do by himself or he preferred to what to learn by seeing or by watching?
Yeah. As a book, he don't like to listen an audio book. He preferred to read the book.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. So here, under the paragraph, you see the 4 learning methods. The first one, grammar translation method, audio lingual method, right? The third one, communicated language teaching. The last one, task-based learning. So here in the paragraph, some methods are worth discussing. They are widely used. We talk about a lot, or they have influence in modern teaching practice. Method 1 and 2 are more learning-based. 3 and 4 are more acquisition-like. Okay, second point. I want to ask you second point, right? Why are the learning methods changing? The teaching methods changing. Teaching methods often change as society itself changes. Teaching methods often change as society itself changes. Over here, teaching methods change because society changes. ဟုတ်ပြီလူဖွဲ့စည်းတွေကပြောင်းလဲနေလို့သင်ကြားနည်းတွေလည်းပြောင်းလဲသွားတယ်။လူဖွဲ့စည်းတွေကဘယ်လိုပြောင်းလဲလို့သင်ကြားနည်းကဘယ်လိုပြောင်းလဲသွားတာလဲ118 can you hello 118 can you or 131? One, 4, 3.
I can about it. I can think about it.
Oh, you can think about it. Okay.
No, I cannot think about it.
You cannot think about it. Okay, I got it.
Yes, sir.
Any volunteer? Any volunteer? What kind of society changes are affecting, right? Do the teaching methods changes? Any volunteer? Someone?
I think our society is developing and day by day, and the technology 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 are developing and day by day. Also, we need to change our learning methods or teaching method
Yeah.
to the situation.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. Because the societies are developing, right? Day by day, year by year. Because yesterday's society and today's societies are very different. So based on that, we need to change our teaching methods. So previously, you will not need to talk to communicate with other countries and other people a lot. But because of the business development of interrelationships, development of the business communication with other people, community, with other society, that's why we have to teach our children to be able to communicate well. That's why the teaching methods are changing based on the changes of the society. အဲ့တော့ကိုယ့်ရဲ့နိုင်ငံဟာဆိုရင်တခြားသောနိုင်ငံတွေနဲ့ကူးလူးဆက်ဆံဖို့အတွက်အခွင့်အရေးတွေနည်းနေပဲဆိုရင်ဒါ teaching method တွေအဲ့လိုကြီးပြောင်းလဲစရာမလိုဘူး။စီးပွားရေးခွင့်လန်းတွေပွင့်လန်းလာမယ်။နော်လူမှုရေးခွင့်လန်းတွေပွင့်လန်းလာမယ်။ဒါဆိုရင်တခြားသောသူတွေနဲ့တခြားနိုင်ငံတွေနဲ့ကူးလူးဆက်ဆံရတာများလာပြီဆိုရင်ဒါ teaching method တွေလည်းပြောင်းရတော့မှာပေါ့။အဲ့လိုလေးတွေနဲ့ Okay, right. 4 methods. GTM, grammar translation method, audio-lingual method, communicative language teaching, task-based learning.ဒါမျိုးလေးရှိတယ်။ဟုတ်ပြီ။အဲ့တော့အိမ်စာလေးပေးလိုက်မယ် right? I want you to find the grammar translation method. I want you to Google. အဲ့တော့ internet မှာ grammar translation method ကိုရှာပြီးတော့ဖတ်ထားမယ်။နောက်တစ်ချိန်ကျရင် grammar translation method အကြောင်းကိုသင်မယ်ဆွေးနွေးမယ်။ Is it clear?
Yes, I get it.
Yes, teacher, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, teacher.
Okay. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
No, sir.
So,
So, what do you remember from my session so far? ဘာတွေကိုမှတ်မိလိုက်လဲ LA and LL. What is LA? What is LL?
Language acquisitions.
Yes, language acquisition and language learning. You know, what are the characteristics of language acquisition?
You learn the language self-consciously.
Yes, subconsciously, like what?
You pick it up automatically from your surrounding, maybe your parents.
Yes, you're right. And also language learning. Another one, please.
Self-study program.
Self-study program and other
Home
things.
occupation.
Home education, home learning, like what?
Attending courses.
Attending courses, yes, attending classes, or learning online or in face-to-face class, like self-study program. Okay. And also, what other things do you remember? Yeah, going to university.
In Kosias, we have we need to afford, we need to study more afford. We need much time.
We need to, yeah.
We need much time and need to pay attention than our mother tongue.
Yeah.
Language learning is a conscious process.
Or conscious process, yes, right?
Yeah.
And there are also the factors, right? Factors affecting language acquisition, factors affecting language learning. Okay, please tell me some factors affecting language acquisition.
Content, age,
Content.
Yeah.
Interested and extrinsic motivation.
Okay. And what's the differences between intrinsic and extrinsic motivation? How are they different?
An extrinsic is you are doing something because you want to do something like outside of your interest. If you want to do it by yourself because you want it, you have a passion for that.
Oh, yes, you have a passion for that, right? It's called the intrinsic motivation. Yes, you're right. Intrinsic motivation, you are doing something because others encourage you. Other people push you, right, to do it. That's why it's called the intrinsic motivation. Okay, good. So other factors. How about the language factors affecting the language learning?
Aptitude, attitude, and discard.
Yeah, aptitude. Yeah.
And if other language learning, about we can have language anxiety.
Oh, language anxiety, yes, right? Language anxiety and also language ego, right? Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much for your participation actively. So I'll stop myself.